Chasten Buttigieg has some thoughtful words about Florida and its insidious Don't Say Gay bill. But before we get to Chasten, a little bit of background. Now, last week, we discussed Florida's 15-week abortion law, and if you missed that, I encourage you to go to our YouTube page and check it out. That anti-abortion bill in Florida is being pushed through the Republican-controlled House and Senate, and all indications are that Governor Ron DeSantis will sign it. But Florida Republican leaders aren't stopping there. They're also trying to pass what they're calling the Parental Rights in Education bill, or what you may have heard of as the Don't Say Gay bill. And if you haven't heard about it, you may be wondering why Facebook is suddenly populated with the word gay over and over and over for the last few weeks, or in my case, just once poignantly. The reason it's called the Don't Say Gay bill is so Florida voters know that there's actually anti-LGBTQ plus content in the bill, because that's the part that Republicans hope no one hears about. So they bury this in the Parental Rights in Education bill, and you have to focus and you have to really find it in the bill, which most voters and parents in Florida, let's be honest, don't have time for. They're not going to see this, that school teachers and staff would be prohibited from having classroom instruction about sexual orientation or gender identity with students. The bill also gives parents an option to sue a school if the policy is violated. It isn't that Florida is so totally anti-gay, it's that a lot of these people just probably have no idea that something this grotesque is buried inside legislation called the Parental Rights in Education bill. But here's why this law is especially sickening. Every Florida Republican in the House and the Senate who voted for it, they already know that children are not being taught about the gay lifestyle in third grade. It's just not coming up. Why would it? But what this will affect, and this is really important, what it will affect will be a child's exposure to books like this. Plenty of Hugs, in which a child with two mothers, hold your disgust, goes out and has a day of bike riding, sees a cow, and has a picnic. We're gonna teach you kids fresh air and exercise. Those are only good for you if you do it with parents of an opposite gender. Otherwise, we don't want you to know about it. There's also The Wonderful Things You Will Be by Emily Winfield Martin, which commits the heinous crime of showing a little boy having a tea party. An outrage, I tell you, outrage. Even look at the cat. Floridians are like, that cat is proof. That cat is angry about this whole damn thing. It's these kinds of materials that children that age are going to be deprived of in Florida schools, the kind of materials that teach them to treat everyone the same, and that boys don't necessarily want to hit a ball, and that girls don't necessarily want to sit in sewing circles and grow up to be a reliable crutch for their husbands. This is what the Florida law wants to eliminate from schools. Teachers are not going to be able to tell students that it's okay to be gay in Florida. And they know that if they do, they might lose their job and lose their health benefits, and that their spouse and their children might lose their health benefits, and that they might be sued, and the school might be sued. Of course, the biggest thing about this anti-gay legislation is how vague it is. That very vagueness, everything becomes fair game. And now we're going to listen to Chasten.
I've been thinking a lot about what it would be like to be living in the state of Florida as an LGBTQ family. I think this bill is vague on purpose because it is trying to silence or push families, students, and LGBTQ individuals back into the closet. And I'm worried, not only as just an individual of the community, but as a father. I'm wondering what it would be like if my kid were going to school and talking about the great weekend that they had with their dads. Is a teacher supposed to censor my kids? Are they supposed to silence my kid and say, hey, we can't talk about that here? And I think these lawmakers are choosing extremely vague language because they want teachers to be fearful of talking about these subjects.
So what if one of the teachers in these schools is gay? And what if a kid in the class raises his hand and says, are you a homosexual? Are you gay? Or what if some devious anti-gay parents get together and encourage their kid to ask that question of a teacher who seems a little funny? And then it happens to become known within the school that that teacher is gay. Is the school required by law to not discuss it? Does that teacher get fired? And then along those same lines, what if a 9-year-old boy believes he's gay and starts telling some of his classmates on the playground? Can those classmates rat him out? Is there maybe a bounty on gay third graders, an extra graham cracker and a bonus 20 minutes on the monkey bars. If a kid in one of those schools knows that they're gay at that age, and it does happen, and they also know that being gay can't be discussed in their classroom because there's a law against it, and they know that all the other students are being told that, what is that going to do to a little kid like that? This is how hate and discrimination continue to thrive in this country. For all of you out there who say, well, when this current breed of old, white, dinosaur, racist men die out, it's going to all be better then because we're all more informed now. We just need to wait for them to be off of the planet. But that's not the case. Florida is grooming the next generation of anti-gay adults. Florida is creating a breeding ground for hate. And there are gay kids in these schools, and the message to them is going to be very clear. You are not okay. And when kids later grow up to be gay, but they've heard enough in their formal learning environments repeatedly, year after year, that there's something wrong with them, I guarantee you it will have an effect on that child's self-esteem. If you are taught that you are wrong for who you are, life gets a lot harder when you're older. And when life gets harder, things that will numb you from that pain start looking really, really good. Alcohol, drugs, unwise personal relationships, physical abuse, food abuse, cutting, looking for someone in life who can put you down because that's what you're used to, and then staying with that person, marrying that person because their abuse makes you feel comfortable. That is what Florida is doing with this Don't Say Gay bill. They are building one class of children who bully and one class of children who will be told that they deserve to be bullied. And maybe your child or your grandchild will grow up to be the next Matthew Shepard, beaten to a pulp, left to die, tied to a fence post, and realizing as he was tied to that fence post with tears streaming down his blood-stained cheeks, as the life was draining out of him, realizing that he was dying because other people were told that it was okay, because he didn't matter as much.